Listen carefully. This is not reaching you by accident. That dream you saw, the one that refuses to leave your heart, it wasn't random. What if I told you Allah chose that exact night to whisper something your ears couldn't hear, but your soul already understood? Because sometimes your dream isn't just a dream, it's a message, and tonight you're about to find out why. 1. The night Allah chose to speak to your soul. What if I told you that dream wasn't random? What if Allah chose that exact night, when your chest was heavy with unspoken pain, when your lips trembled with a dua? You couldn't even finish, when your eyes were wide open in the dark, staring at the ceiling because sleep wouldn't come. And in that silence, in that quiet, where even the walls felt like they were listening, Allah saw you. He saw your thoughts. He heard the cries you buried so deep that even the people closest to you couldn't recognize your breaking. And without a single sound, without a single warning, He sent something, a message no human could deliver. Because there are moments in your life when words become too small for what Allah wants your heart to know. Your ears wouldn't be able to hold it. Your mind wouldn't be able to process it. Your body wouldn't know how to carry it. So Allah bypasses everything, your ears, your thoughts, your understanding, and speaks directly to the soul He created with His own hands. That's why some dreams, they don't feel like dreams at all. They shake you awake in ways reality never could. They pull at a thread inside you that you didn't even know existed. You wake up and something feels different. The air feels heavier. Your heartbeat is louder. The vision, it stays, and yet you can't explain it. You try to tell someone about it, but the words fall apart in your mouth. Not because the dream was unclear, but because it wasn't meant for anyone else to understand. This wasn't a story for the world. It was a letter written from Allah to you. Maybe that night, your soul was aching in silence. Nobody knew how deep it went. Nobody saw how hard you were holding yourself together, but Allah did. And He chose that exact moment, when your chest was the heaviest, to whisper to you in a language no human tongue could carry. And you woke up feeling something, a pull, a presence, a knowing you couldn't name. This is why some dreams wrap themselves around you. You carry them into the day, like a secret only you and Allah share. No matter how much time passes, you never forget them, because they were never just dreams. They were reminders, reminders that you are seen, reminders that you are heard, reminders that Allah knows the weight you've been silently dragging behind you. And sometimes, before He changes your life, Allah changes your heart first. He places visions inside you, glimpses of a path you don't yet understand, because He knows what's coming, long before you ever do. 2. Allah shows you what your eyes aren't ready to see. Sometimes Allah sends you a glimpse of something your eyes cannot yet handle, but your heart is ready to receive. That's why certain dreams feel different. They don't just visit you for a night. They stay. You wake up, but the weight of them clings to your chest. The colors, the faces, the places, they don't fade like ordinary dreams. They live inside you, as if they've carved their meaning into your soul. Because they are not ordinary. They are whispers, a soft preparation, a secret only between you and Allah. Have you ever wondered why these dreams come right when life feels too heavy? Why they arrive when your patience is breaking, when your heart feels hollow, when your prayers are starting to sound like echoes in an empty room? It's because Allah knows you better than anyone. He knows when your soul is thirstiest for reassurance. He knows when your chest is tightest with unanswered questions, and He knows exactly what to send to remind you that He's still here. But here's the truth many overlook. You're not always ready for what's coming. The thing you've been praying for, the person you've been waiting on, the dream you've been aching to see unfold. Right now, you might not be strong enough to hold it. You might not yet have the clarity to walk the path that leads there. And so, Allah gives you a glimpse, a preview, a sign hidden inside a dream. It's as if He's softly saying, I know what's coming for you, I know where I'm taking you, and I'm preparing you before you arrive. These dreams are not random flashes. They are training for the heart. They plant seeds of patience, hope, and quiet surrender long before reality arrives. Think about it. Some of the most powerful changes in your life didn't begin with action. They began with awareness, with a knowing you couldn't explain. Allah prepares you like this. First, He whispers to your heart. Then, He shapes your thoughts. And only when you're ready, He brings your body into the places your soul has already visited. This is why, when you wake up from certain dreams, you feel an ache you can't describe. You feel drawn to something you've never seen before, or someone you've never met, or a moment you've never lived. And yet, it feels familiar, like your heart has already touched it. Because in a way, it has. Before He writes a chapter in your life, Allah allows your heart to read its first lines in secret. That dream you keep returning to isn't always about understanding today. It's about preparing for tomorrow. But here's the part we miss. Not everything shown in a dream is meant to be chased. Sometimes it's a promise. Sometimes it's a warning. Sometimes it's simply Allah's way of saying, I see you. I haven't forgotten you. I'm weaving your story, even in silence. And when your soul holds on to that, you learn to breathe differently, to wait differently, to trust differently. Remember this, Allah's timing is perfect, and so is His preparation. He knows the path ahead of you. Every turn, every delay, every heartbreak, every miracle, and so He softens your heart before the moment arrives. He plants vision before reality appears. He gives you pieces of something you cannot yet fully hold, so when it comes, your soul is already ready. That's why some dreams don't just come and go. They change you. You wake up different, quieter, softer, more patient. Not because you understood everything, but because you felt seen by the one who knows everything. There are times in life when your eyes aren't ready to see what your heart already knows. You think you're ready. You think you can handle it. You think, if only Allah would show me the way, I'd walk it without hesitation. But He knows you better than you know yourself. He knows what would break you. He knows what would overwhelm you. He knows the weight. Your chest is still too fragile to carry. So instead of showing you everything, He shows you just enough. A glimpse, a fragment, a symbol, something your heart can hold, while He prepares your soul for the rest. And this is why some dreams feel heavier than reality itself, because reality hasn't caught up yet, but your heart has already seen what your eyes are still blind to. You walk into your day differently. Your mind feels distant, your chest strangely awake, because part of you has touched something that hasn't happened yet, but one day will. Have you ever noticed how these dreams come right when you feel the weakest? It's not random. When your patience is running out, when your prayers feel unanswered, when silence feels unbearable, Allah sends you something to hold on to. Not a solution, not an explanation, just a sign, a reminder that you are seen, that you are heard, that your life is not unfolding in chaos. It's unfolding with precision, too perfect for your limited vision. And that dream, it's a thread, a lifeline between your aching heart and the one who holds it. Sometimes Allah gives you glimpses of joy before He brings it into your life. You see someone you've never met, but feel like you've known forever. You stand in a place your feet have never touched, but your heart swears it remembers. You witness moments that make your chest ache as if your soul has already lived them. That's not imagination. That's divine preparation. Allah lets your heart arrive before your body does. He lets your soul feel home before your hands ever touch the door. Other times, Allah shows you visions that are warnings, not to scare you, but to protect you. Sometimes He shows you a path you think you want but can't yet handle, or a person you're not meant to chase, or a door you're not ready to open. These dreams aren't meant to make you panic. They're meant to pull you closer to Him, to remind you that He sees the things you cannot. This is why some dreams leave you with questions instead of answers, because they're not puzzles to be solved overnight. They're seeds planted in silence, seeds of trust, seeds of patience, seeds of surrender. And when the time is right, life itself will water them. One day you'll walk into a moment, and suddenly the dream will make sense. You'll realize Allah was never confusing you, He was preparing you. And maybe right now, you're carrying one of those dreams. You wake up replaying it, trying to make sense of every detail. You search for answers everywhere. Books, people, scholars, online, but still, nothing feels clear. That's because the meaning isn't always meant to arrive today. Some answers are written for your future self. Some wisdom only makes sense after life brings you to the place Allah saw for you all along. Until then, the dream stays with you as a compass, a reminder, a quiet hand on your heart whispering, "Trust me," because trust is everything. Allah shows you what your eyes aren't ready for, to remind you that He's in control. He lets your soul feel what your body hasn't reached, so that when the test comes, your heart is already prepared. This is why certain visions don't leave you, because they're not random stories your mind stitched together. They're threads woven into the fabric of your destiny. One day you'll look back and realize why Allah showed you what He showed you exactly when He did. You'll see how the dream that once confused you was guiding you all along. You'll understand why the timing was perfect, why the glimpse was necessary, and why the silence mattered. And in that moment you'll whisper to yourself, "All along, Allah was preparing me." So if you're holding on to a dream right now, don't dismiss it. Don't rush to decode it. Don't let confusion turn into despair. Just pause, breathe, trust. Because sometimes Allah sends you visions, not to explain everything immediately, but to remind you that He's already written it perfectly. The dream is a promise in disguise. 3. A language only your soul understands. There are some things your ears can't hear, your eyes can't see, and your mind can't understand. But your soul already knows. And sometimes Allah speaks to you in a language no one else in this entire world could ever translate. It doesn't come through voices. It doesn't arrive in sentences. It isn't carried by sound. It's something deeper, something softer, something so private that even if you tried to explain it to someone else, you couldn't, because this is not a message for their ears, it's for your heart. You see, the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "The good dream of a believer is one part of 46 parts of prophethood." Bukhari and Muslim. That means some dreams are sacred invitations. They're not random images. They're not meaningless illusions. They are whispers from Allah, personal, tailored, divine, an exchange so intimate that the entire universe could be awake around you, and yet no one but you would receive it. Because Allah knows your wounds, your fears, your secrets, your regrets, the heaviness you never put into words. And so He speaks to you through a private language only your soul can understand. This is why some dreams don't need interpretation. They don't shout, they don't demand, they don't confuse, they reveal, they settle, they soothe. You wake up, and without understanding how, your chest feels lighter, your heart feels calmer. Something in you knows, I've been heard, I've been seen. You can't explain it, but you feel it, because this isn't knowledge. That enters through your mind. It enters straight into your heart. Think about it. How many times have you woken up, carrying a dream you couldn't describe, and yet, deep inside, you knew what it meant? Nobody explained it to you. Nobody broke it down for you. And still, something in your soul whispered, I understand. This is the beauty of Allah's language. It's not Arabic, and it's not English, it's not Urdu, it's the soundless communication between the Creator and His creation, and sometimes that language comes when you're too weak to ask for it. On the nights, you feel forgotten. On the nights, you cry quietly, so no one else hears. On the nights, your chest feels too tight to breathe without breaking. Allah doesn't wait for you to put your pain into words. He doesn't wait for your lips to move or your voice to rise. He already knows. So He answers in silence. He answers through visions, through moments that bypass your logic and speak directly to your soul. It's why you wake up feeling like something shifted inside you, even though nothing outside has changed. No one around you knows it. No one around you feels it, but you know. You feel different, you move differently, you pray differently, because your soul has heard something your mind hasn't yet caught up to. Understand this. When Allah chooses to speak to you like this, and it's not random, He is the Lord of all creation. He sustains billions of lives, every single moment, and yet He pauses the entire universe to send something just for you. Think about that. The one who commands the galaxies, who governs the oceans, who writes every sunrise and every heartbeat. He saw you, and He said, this heart needs me right now. That's why, even if nobody else in the world noticed your tears, Allah did, and He sent an answer in a language only you would understand. Sometimes the answer isn't words at all, it's a dream that makes your chest ache with a strange familiarity, a moment that feels like a memory. You've never actually lived, a presence that comforts you without speaking. These are not coincidences. This is Allah's way of pulling you closer to Him without you even realizing it. Because if He spoke to you openly, you'd question it, you'd overthink it, you'd argue with it. So He sends it quietly, straight to the deepest part of you, the part untouched by doubts. And that's why these moments feel different. They don't just visit you. They change you. They shift something within you that no amount of words could have moved. Days pass, weeks pass, but the feeling remains. Because when Allah speaks to the soul, He leaves fingerprints that never fade. And maybe right now, you're carrying something like this. A dream you can't forget. A sign you can't explain. A moment that refuses to leave your heart. Stop doubting it. Stop dismissing it as random. Stop trying to translate it through the language of the world. It wasn't sent to the world. It was sent to you. And maybe, just maybe, it's not there to be solved today. Maybe it's there to prepare you, to comfort you, to call you closer. This is the beauty of Allah's private language. It doesn't ask for understanding. It asks for trust. Trust that He knows. Trust that He hears. Trust that He sees what you can't. And when you carry that trust, even unanswered questions begin to feel lighter, because you realize that if Allah is sending whispers to your soul, then He hasn't forgotten you, not for a moment, not ever. So hold this close when Allah chooses to speak to your soul in a language no one else understands. It's a sign of how deeply He knows you. It's a reminder that before you were forgotten by anyone else, you were seen by Him. And one day, when life brings you to the very moment He was preparing you for all along, you'll look back and realize every dream, every sign, every whisper was Him leading me here. 4. When your dua feels unanswered, there are nights when you sit in silence, holding your hands open, whispering your pain into the darkness. You beg, you plead, you cry until your voice breaks, and still, there is no answer. And somewhere in that silence, the thought creeps in. Maybe Allah isn't listening to me. Maybe my words are lost. Maybe my du'as aren't worthy. But listen to me, your du'a has never been ignored. Not a single syllable has ever been wasted. Sometimes Allah answers you in ways your eyes can't yet see, and your mind can't yet understand. Just because you don't hear a response doesn't mean there isn't one. There are moments when Allah's silence is louder than words. Moments when His delay is softer than comfort itself. Because the thing you're asking for might not be ready for you yet. Or maybe you're not ready for it. Have you ever wondered why Allah holds back the very thing your heart aches for the most? It's not because He wants to hurt you. It's because He loves you too much to hand you something that would break you before it blesses you. Sometimes the waiting is protection. Sometimes the delay is mercy in disguise. You see, Allah hears you the very first time you whisper His name. Before your lips move, He already knows the dua. Hidden deep inside your chest, the tears you shed in secret. The ones nobody else sees. They are collected by the most merciful. Not one of them falls to the ground unseen. Every sigh, every silent plea, every heartbreak, every late-night whisper, He gathers them all and He responds. Not when you want, but when your soul is ready. But I know what it feels like to sit in that in-between, to keep asking and feel like nothing is moving, to look around and see other people receiving what you've been begging for while you're still waiting, and it breaks you a little, doesn't it? You start questioning yourself. You start questioning your worth. Sometimes you even start questioning Him. But don't. Please don't, because you're not being punished. You're being prepared. There are du'as that Allah answers immediately. And then there are du'as that Allah holds close to His throne, not to deny you, but to write them into your story at the moment. They will serve your soul the most, and sometimes the wait is the answer. Because through the wait, you change, you soften, you grow, you become someone who can finally carry the very thing you were asking for. This is why your heart hurts so much right now. It's not because Allah has abandoned you, it's because He loves you enough to prepare you before He gives. Every unanswered dua is a reminder that Allah's silence is never absence. Even when it feels like He's quiet, He's closer than you can imagine. Sometimes Allah holds back your dua because He loves you too much to give you less. When He has already written more, you ask for something small, something you think will complete you, but Allah knows how limited your sight is. He knows your heart better than you ever could, so He delays. Not to hurt you, not to deny you, but to give you what your heart would have begged for if only it knew what Allah already knows. And this is where trust is tested, because waiting feels like drowning sometimes. You start to wonder if your words have been forgotten. You replay every prayer in your mind, searching for the moment you think you got it wrong. But listen carefully. There's nothing wrong with your du'as. There's nothing wrong with you. This waiting is divine protection. This silence is mercy wearing disguise. You see, Allah knows the storms ahead of you that your heart cannot yet see. There are paths you're praying to walk on that would crush you. If He opened them today, there are people you're asking for who would shatter you if He allowed them into your life right now. So He closes doors you thought were meant for you. He delays blessings you thought were ready. And He protects you even from the things you're begging Him for, because He sees the entire picture while you only see a piece. But in those quiet nights, I know how heavy it gets. You fall into sujood and whisper the same words over and over again, wondering why nothing has changed. You open your hands and feel like the sky is too far to reach. Tears soak your prayer mat. Your heart aches in ways language can't hold, and still, silence. It's in those moments you have to remember something. Silence is not rejection. Delay is not abandonment. Silence means Allah is working on things you cannot yet see. Delay means Allah is building a bridge to a future you are not ready to walk into yet. Have you ever thought that maybe, just maybe, Allah loves you too much to give you what you want when you want it? Because sometimes the blessing given too early becomes the very thing that breaks you. So He waits, He strengthens your heart, He shapes your patience, He builds your faith, and when the moment comes, you'll receive what you prayed for and the version of yourself that can actually hold it. Maybe the delay isn't punishment, maybe the delay is preparation, and one day you'll look back at the thing you begged Allah for and whisper to yourself, if He had given it to me then, I would have ruined it, I would have ruined myself. You'll realize that the version of you, standing in gratitude tomorrow, needed this waiting today. Every tear you've shed, every whispered prayer, every silent heartbreak, it's already with Him. Not one dua is ever lost. Not one moment of pain is ever ignored. Allah is not silent because He's distant. He is silent because He is busy arranging things for you in ways you cannot yet understand. Trust His silence. It carries more answers than words ever could. One day, you'll wake up and realize why Allah made you wait. You'll stand in the middle of a blessing you once begged for, and every unanswered night will suddenly make sense. You'll see how His silence wasn't punishment but preparation, how His delay wasn't denial but perfection in timing. And you'll whisper to yourself, if He had given it to me back then, I wouldn't have been ready. I wouldn't have understood its worth. I wouldn't have carried it with grace. But right now, in the middle of the waiting, I know how fragile it feels. You wake up with questions, but no answers. You go to bed with tears and wake up with the same ache. You pray, and yet your world feels unchanged. And deep inside, you start to wonder, is Allah ignoring me? Listen carefully. No dua ever falls on deaf ears. Indeed, your Lord says, call upon me and I will respond to you. Surah Ghafir 40:60. His response is promised, but His response is not always immediate, because sometimes He is rebuilding you in silence before He rebuilds your life. And maybe this isn't about the thing you're asking for. Maybe this waiting is about you, about teaching your heart to trust what it cannot see, about showing you that faith is not proven when duas are answered. It's proven when they're not, and you still bow your head anyway. Patience isn't simply waiting. Patience is worship. Patience is proof that you believe Allah's timing is wiser than your own. There's something beautiful about trusting a God who hides the full picture from you, but never hides Himself. Even when you feel overlooked, you're held. Even when you feel unheard, you're understood. Even when you feel forgotten, you're remembered. Because Allah says, I am near. I respond to the call of the caller when He calls upon me. Surah Al-Baqarah 2:186. Near, not distant, not absent, near. And this nearness, it's everything. It's why your heart keeps whispering His name, even when your lips are silent. It's why you ache for Him in ways you can't explain. It's why no matter how much the world distracts you, your soul keeps finding its way back to sujood. Because somewhere deep down, you know the truth. If Allah has delayed something, it's because He's saving you for something greater. And one day, you'll understand why the door stayed closed, why the person walked away, why the dream took so long to arrive. You'll realize that if Allah had opened certain paths, they would have led to your heartbreak, not your healing. You'll look back at the thing you cried for and say, Ya Allah, thank you for giving me better than what I asked for. Until that day, don't let the silence scare you. Don't let the delay break you. Don't let unanswered prayers make you forget how deeply you are loved, because every second of this waiting is shaping you into someone stronger, softer, and closer to Allah than you've ever been before. And maybe, just maybe, the thing you're praying for isn't being delayed. Maybe you are being prepared to carry it. Your dua has been heard. Your tears have been seen. Your silence has been understood. Allah is never ignoring you. He's holding your prayer close to His throne, waiting for the moment when giving it to you will be the greatest mercy, not the greatest test. Trust Him. Trust His silence. Trust His timing, because one day you'll stand exactly where He wanted you to be, and every unanswered night will feel like a whisper of love you couldn't understand at the time. 5. Not every dream is a destination. Not every dream is a destination. Not every vision you see is meant to be chased. Not every glimpse is meant to be possessed. Sometimes Allah sends you a dream, not to show you where to run, but to call you back to Him. You see, your soul speaks a language your mind doesn't always understand, and Allah knows this. He knows the fears you can't voice, the regrets you don't admit, the prayers you bury so deep that even you forget them sometimes. And sometimes He sends you a vision, a small flicker of something that makes your heart pause. But here's the secret. Not every dream is a roadmap. Not every sign is a destination. Some dreams are reminders. Reminders that He sees you, reminders that He hears you, reminders that He is still guiding you even when you've drifted too far to notice. Because your heart, it forgets. It gets distracted. It gets lost in chasing the world, its people, its noise. And so Allah sends something quiet, something soft to pull you back, without a single word spoken. Sometimes you wake up from a dream and your chest feels heavier, your thoughts quieter, your soul restless, and you don't understand why. You search for meanings, you search for answers, but the truth is, that dream wasn't meant to be decoded. It was meant to wake something inside you. Have you ever thought about this? What if the dream you're holding on to was never meant to give you the thing you saw, but to prepare your heart for something deeper? What if the person you saw in that vision wasn't meant to stay, but to remind you of a prayer you'd forgotten you made? What if the door that opened in your sleep wasn't an invitation to enter, but a whisper to return to the one who opens and closes all doors? And maybe this is where you are right now, holding on to a dream, turning it over in your mind again and again, trying to find its meaning. But what if the meaning isn't about the dream at all? What if the meaning is about you, about the state of your heart, about the direction of your soul, about who you're becoming, through the longing, through the waiting, through the whispers you can't yet explain? Some dreams are sent to make you slow down, to pause, to reflect. Not every door you see in your sleep is one you're meant to walk through. Some are placed there to remind you to seek the one who decides which doors open and which ones remain closed. And this is where the test lies. Will you rush? Will you cling to something that was never written for you? Or will you pause and surrender your heart back to the one who wrote your story before you were born? Because surrender isn't losing. Surrender is safety. Surrender is peace. Not every dream is meant to lead you somewhere. Some are meant to bring you back to where you already belong, back to your Creator, back to the one who hears you before you speak, back to the one who understands your heart, even when you don't. There are moments in life when your heart starts chasing things it thinks it needs, a person, a place, a life you imagine will finally make you whole. And sometimes Allah lets you see that dream, but not to give it to you. He lets you touch it in sleep, so that you realize how much your soul is longing for something deeper than what your mind is asking for. You might see someone in a dream and feel like it means you're destined to meet. You might walk through a door and believe it's your sign to pursue it. You might see a life you've always wished for and assume it's a promise. But here's the secret. Sometimes the dream isn't showing you what's ahead. It's showing you what your heart is clinging to. It's a mirror, a reflection of your longing, a soft reminder to surrender that longing back to the one who knows what's best for you, because Allah doesn't just guide you to places, He guides you back to Him. Sometimes that the dream is not the destination. The dream is the signal. It's His way of whispering, "You've drifted. Come closer. Remember me. Seek me first." And when you ignore that whisper, your heart grows heavier, your thoughts grow louder, your soul feels restless. That restlessness, it's not confusion, it's not punishment, it's Allah calling you back before you get lost chasing something that was never written for you. You see, we live in a world that teaches us to chase every desire, to believe every sign, to claim every vision as if it belongs to us. But the truth is, not everything your heart sees is meant to be yours. Some doors you knock on are locked for your protection. Some faces you long for are removed for your healing. Some dreams you carry are planted only to wake your soul, not to shape your life. And if Allah closes a door, it's because behind it is something that would wound you more than bless you. So instead, He shows you enough to pause, enough to reflect, enough to return. Return to Him, return to patience, return to trust. Not every dream is an invitation to act. Some are invitations to pray, to sit in silence, and surrender the very thing you thought you couldn't live without. Because the truth is, you can live without anything except Him. And maybe the reason Allah showed you that dream was to remind you who truly holds your heart. Maybe He wanted you to remember that no matter how beautiful the vision looked, it will never compare to the beauty of being chosen by Him. Sometimes that the greatest blessing isn't in receiving what you want, it's in being protected from what you can't yet see. And when that protection comes in the form of a closed door, an unanswered dua, or a dream that stays unfulfilled, it hurts. I know it hurts, but that hurt is the doorway to surrender, and surrender is the path to peace. This is where Allah teaches you the meaning of tawakkul, trusting Him, even when the vision felt real. Trusting Him, even when the path looked clear. Trusting Him, even when your heart swears it was meant to be yours. Because what's truly yours can never miss you, and what misses you was never meant for you. Sometimes the hardest thing in life is letting go of a dream you were so sure was sent for you. It felt real, it felt alive, it felt written, and yet here you are, standing in the silence, watching the path close. Right before your eyes, you ache, you question, you plead, and deep down you whisper, "Ya Allah, why show me this if it wasn't mine?" But here's the beauty. Allah doesn't show you something to torture you. He shows you to teach you. Sometimes the dream wasn't meant to give you the thing you saw. It was meant to awaken something in you. It was meant to pull you closer, to soften your heart, to teach you how to release control, to remind you that even your most beautiful desires are safest when left in His hands. Because here's the truth, Allah never takes from you without giving you something greater. If the dream wasn't meant to stay, it wasn't because you didn't deserve it. It was because it couldn't carry you where He needs you to go. And so He writes something better, something deeper, something you can't yet imagine. This is why faith feels like surrender when you finally release your grip on what you thought you needed, your hands open wide enough to receive what Allah always meant for you. But letting go isn't easy, is it? It feels like breaking, it feels like falling, it feels like standing in an empty room with nothing to hold on to but silence. And yet, That silence is where your soul finally hears him, because sometimes you have to lose what you wanted to find what you needed. Sometimes you have to witness the closing of a door to see the one who controls them all. Sometimes you have to surrender your dream to finally meet the one who shaped your destiny long before you dreamed it. And when you do, something beautiful happens. The ache softens, the restlessness quiets, the longing turns into du'as instead of chasing. Your heart learns that peace isn't found in holding on to every vision. Peace is found in trusting the author of your story. So the next time you wake up from a dream that feels heavy with meaning, pause. Don't rush, don't chase, don't cling. Instead, whisper, Ya Allah, if this is mine, write it for me. If it's not, remove it from my heart and replace it with something better. Because surrender isn't losing. Surrender is safety. Surrender is the bridge between longing and peace. And one day, you'll look back at the dreams you thought you lost and realize they were never lost at all. They led you here, to this moment, to this closeness, to this nearness to Allah you would have never found otherwise. So remember this, not every dream is a destination. Some are signs, some are warnings, some are reminders, and some are simply Allah's way of saying, return to me, trust me. I know what your heart can't yet see. And when you learn to trust Him, you stop chasing every vision. You stop clinging to every door. You stop fearing the closed ones, because you finally understand whatever is written for you will always find you. And whatever isn't was never meant to stay. Your soul already knows the truth. The safest place for your dreams is with the one who wrote them before you were born. So breathe, surrender, and rest in the promise that Allah's plan is never late, never wrong, and never small. The dream was never the destination. He is. 6. The meaning will unfold in time. There are moments in life when you wake up from a dream or sit in silence after a prayer and you know deep inside something has shifted, but you can't explain it. You can't put it into words, and you can't yet see what it means, because some things are not meant to be understood today. Some dreams are not answers, they are seeds. Allah plants them quietly in the softest part of your heart, where no one else can see them, and you carry them without knowing. You carry them through your days, through your struggles, through your waiting. You think they've faded, but they haven't. They're alive, silent, growing in places you don't even realize, until one day life waters them, and what once confused you becomes the clearest thing you've ever seen. But I know how heavy it feels right now. You want answers today. You want clarity now. You want to understand why you saw that dream, why you crossed paths with that person, why certain doors opened only to close again. You want to know why Allah whispered something into your heart and then left you waiting in silence. It's because your heart is ready to hold the question, but not yet ready to carry the answer. You see, there is a rhythm to Allah's plan, and your life moves to its beat, even when you can't hear it. The visions you see, the feelings that cling to you, the people who pass through your path. None of it is random, but meaning unfolds. In Allah's timing, not yours. Sometimes He shows you pieces before you're ready for the whole picture. Because if He gave it to you now, it would crush you. Your heart wouldn't survive. Knowing everything at once, your soul wouldn't be able to carry its weight. So He hides it in mercy. He covers it in silence. He lets you walk with the unknown until the unknown becomes the very thing that shapes you. And that's what patience really is. Patience isn't just waiting. Patience is trusting that Allah's silence is still an answer. Patience is believing that when Allah hides something, it's not rejection, it's protection. Protection from knowing too much too soon. Protection from hurting before it's time. Protection from chasing things that were never meant for you. Have you ever wondered why you keep seeing the same faces in your dreams, or why certain places you've never visited feel strangely familiar? Maybe it's not for today. Maybe it's for a version of you haven't met yet, a place you haven't reached yet, a moment you don't know is coming, but Allah does. So He plants the knowing before He writes the living. He lets your heart touch the moment before your feet walk into it. And when you finally arrive, you'll pause, you'll feel it, and you'll realize that Allah was preparing you all along. One day, you'll understand why Allah made you wait. You'll look back at this season of confusion, this ache, this endless questioning, and you'll whisper to yourself, Subhanallah, He was preparing me all along. Because here's the truth. Nothing you've lived, nothing you've dreamed, nothing you've prayed for in silence has been wasted. Not one tear, not one sleepless night, not one dua. That left your lips trembling in the dark. Right now, you're standing in the middle of a puzzle where most of the pieces are still face down. You can't see the picture yet. You only see fragments, edges, and scattered shapes. But Allah holds the entire box in His hands. He sees the picture finished while you're still staring at broken pieces. He knows how each moment connects, even when you can't. That's why He tells us, perhaps you dislike something, and it is good for you. And perhaps you love something, and it is bad for you. Allah knows while you do not know. Surah Al-Baqarah 2:216. Do you see? The delay, the unanswered dua, the dream you can't yet explain. They are not accidents, they are designs. Plans written by the one who sees what you cannot. But I know, waiting feels heavy. You wake up with a heart full of longing and go to sleep with the same questions echoing in your chest. Why now? Why this? Why me? And still silence. But silence isn't the absence of an answer. Silence is the shaping of one. Sometimes Allah is not withholding from you. He's protecting you from knowing too soon, protecting you from forcing what isn't ready, protecting you from hurting yourself by running toward something your heart isn't prepared to hold yet. And here's the thing. Patience doesn't mean you feel nothing. Patience doesn't mean you stop wanting. Patience means you learn to breathe. While standing in uncertainty, trusting that what's written is already on its way to you. But only when the moment is perfect. There is beauty in not knowing. Because in the space where your answers don't exist, faith is born, faith begins. Where clarity ends, faith lives. In the silence between dua and destiny. And the deeper your confusion, the louder your faith can become. Have you ever woken up from a dream that felt like more than a dream, a vision so vivid? You carried it like a secret throughout your day, and yet days pass, weeks pass, and nothing in reality connects to it. It's because some meanings are not meant to bloom today. Some doors have to stay closed until your soul is strong enough to walk through them. Allah gives your heart a preview of a chapter He's still writing. He lets you touch pieces of it in advance, so that when the day finally comes, your soul whispers, I've seen this before. I was prepared for this moment. That's why some dreams don't fade like the others. They stay, they cling, because they are pieces of a future you haven't met yet. And when you finally reach that future, you'll realize why Allah kept it hidden until now. You'll see how every delay, every silence, every no wasn't meant to break you, it was meant to build you. Because sometimes Allah doesn't give you the answer right away. He turns you into the person who can understand it when it arrives. One day, you'll understand why Allah made you wait. You'll see how every unanswered dua wasn't ignored but stored, how every tear you shed in silence wasn't forgotten but collected, how every moment of confusion wasn't punishment but preparation. And when that day comes, you'll smile through tears and whisper, "Ya Allah, you knew all along." Right now, though, you're standing inside the unknown. And the unknown feels heavy, doesn't it? It feels like walking in the dark, with only fragments of light scattered before you. You can't see the whole road. You can't see where it ends, but Allah does. And that's the point. If He showed you everything today, you'd stop seeking Him. If He revealed every answer now, you'd stop bowing to ask. If He gave you the meaning immediately, your heart would cling to the gift instead of the giver. So He hides it, not to confuse you, but to keep you close. Because in the waiting, you return to Him. In the silence, you lean on Him. In the not knowing, you finally taste surrender. And surrender is where the heart softens. It's where you stop demanding, stop chasing, stop clinging to things you were never meant to hold. Surrender is where faith begins. It's where you whisper, "Ya Allah, if this is mine, write it for me, and if it isn't, remove it from my heart and replace it with something better." That whisper is stronger than any answer you could receive today, because it shifts your longing from the seen to the unseen. There are du'as. Allah answers immediately, and there are du'as He holds close to His throne, saving them for the exact moment they'll bring the greatest good. And then there are prayers you think went unanswered, but later you'll realize Allah gave you something far better. Better than what you wanted, better than what you imagined, better than what you thought you needed to survive. Have you ever looked back at something you begged Allah for and whispered, "Alhamdulillah, you didn't give me that"? That's what trust looks like in hindsight. That's what surrender feels like, when the meaning finally blooms, because one day you'll thank Allah, not only for what He gave you, but also for what He withheld. Right now, you don't need to understand everything. You don't need to rush the answers. You don't need to control the unfolding. You only need to trust that Allah is working in ways your heart can't yet see. Because when Allah writes a story, even the pauses are sacred. Even the delays carry mercy hidden between them. Even the silence is full of answers you'll only hear when you're ready. And when that day arrives, when you finally stand inside the very moment Allah has been preparing you for all along, your heart will whisper, "I've been here before," because you have. In the dreams you carried, in the signs you ignored, in the whispers your soul felt, but your mind couldn't understand. You'll realize He's been guiding you the whole time, step by step, breath by breath. Until then, breathe, be still, and trust the one who already knows the ending of the story. You're still learning to live, because meaning doesn't bloom on your schedule. Meaning unfolds in Allah's time, and Allah's timing is always perfect. Your confusion is temporary, your longing is temporary, but Allah's plan for you is eternal. The dream you can't yet explain, the vision that lingers, the unanswered du'as. They're not random, they are chapters you haven't reached yet. So trust Him, trust His silence, trust His pauses, because when the meaning finally unfolds, you'll see that He never delayed to deny you. He delayed to elevate you, and you'll know, with tears in your eyes, "Ya Allah, you were preparing me all along." 7. Proof you're never forgotten. There are moments in life when you look around and feel invisible, when the world moves without you, when people you thought would stay slip quietly out of your story, when the silence around you feels louder than your prayers. And in those moments, a whisper creeps in, "Maybe I'm forgotten. Maybe no one sees me. Maybe even Allah has turned away from me." But listen closely. You are never forgotten. Not by Him, Not for a moment. Before anyone ever knew your name, he did. Before anyone ever saw your tears, he counted everyone. Before anyone understood your pain, he wrote every chapter of it. With his own hands, every breath you've taken, every heartbeat, every restless night has been witnessed by him. Does he who created not know, and he is the most subtle, the all-aware? Surah Al-Mulk 67:14. Do you see, even when the world overlooks you, Allah never does. Sometimes Allah hides you, not to erase you, not to abandon you, but to protect you. While he prepares you, he keeps you unseen, because what he's writing for you requires silence first, requires solitude, requires seasons of being overlooked, so he can plant strength where the world cannot touch you. And in those quiet seasons, when it feels like nothing is moving, he is building you in ways you can't yet understand. But I know how it feels to sit on your prayer mat and whisper your du'as with trembling lips, wondering if anyone is listening, to cry into your pillow at night while everyone else sleeps peacefully, and ask yourself, Ya Allah, do you hear me? He hears you. Every sigh, every tear, every unspoken plea, buried so deep, you can't even put it into words. Do you know why your heart aches so much when people forget you? Because your soul was never designed to survive on being seen by people. It was designed to survive on being seen by him. You are not overlooked. You are not lost. You are not invisible. Indeed, I am near. I respond to the call of the caller when he calls upon me. Surah Al-Baqarah 2:186. Near, always near. Sometimes he takes people away, so you'll finally turn to him. Sometimes he closes doors, so you'll realize he was the door all along. Sometimes he lets silence surround you, so you'll hear the only voice that matters, his. And maybe right now, you're carrying a pain no one knows about. You smile in front of people, but inside, you're falling apart. And you think, no one sees me, no one understands. But Allah does. Before the words even reach your tongue, he already knows them. Before the tears roll down your face, he's already counted them. Before the wound formed in your heart, he already planned its healing. Sometimes the proof that you're never forgotten isn't in what you receive, and it's in what he protects you from. You don't see the dangers removed. You don't see the heartbreaks avoided. You don't see the storms he silenced before they ever touched you. If you only knew how many times he saved you quietly, your heart would fall into sujood from gratitude alone. Do you know why you've survived every heartbreak, every storm, every night you thought you wouldn't make it through? Because Allah never left you. Even in the moments when you thought he was silent, he was holding you up. Even when you thought your du'as disappeared into the dark, they were rising higher than your voice could ever reach. There were days you thought you were alone, but you weren't. He was the strength in your chest. When your knees were shaking, he was the calm in your breath. When your heart was racing, he was the one who whispered patience into your soul. When you wanted to give up, you thought you were standing alone, but it was always him, holding you steady. And yet, I know how heavy it gets sometimes. You see others being chosen. You see doors opening for everyone else, while yours stay closed. You watch people receive the very things you've been begging for, and your heart whispers, Ya Allah, did you forget me? But no, you are not forgotten. You are being prepared. The reason your door hasn't opened yet isn't because Allah has ignored you. It's because he's writing something that needs more time to bloom. You see, Allah is not just arranging blessings. He's arranging you. He's softening the places inside you that need to heal before he can give you what you've been asking for. He's strengthening your patience so you'll know how to carry the weight of what's coming. Because if he gave it to you too soon, you might lose it, or worse, it might break you. Sometimes, what looks like Allah's silence is actually His greatest mercy. The heartbreak He allowed wasn't to destroy you. It was to redirect you. The delay you're living through right now isn't punishment. It's protection. And the emptiness you feel is not abandonment. It's an invitation to fill your heart with the one who will never leave. Think about this. How many times did Allah remove someone from your life you once thought you couldn't live without? How many times did He block an opportunity you thought was meant for you, only for you to later whisper, "Alhamdulillah, you saved me"? You didn't see it then, but He saw what you couldn't. He always does. And He found you lost and guided you. Surah Ad-Duha 93:7. Sometimes the greatest proof that Allah loves you isn't in what He gives, it's in what He takes away, because if He allowed certain people, places or paths to stay, they would have destroyed you in ways you can't yet imagine, and so He removes them quietly, without warning, without explanation. You cry over it now, but one day you'll thank Him for protecting you from what you thought you wanted. Even the isolation you're living through right now has meaning. Maybe Allah pulled you away because He needed your undivided heart. Maybe the silence was His way of bringing you closer. Maybe the distance was always a design to realign you with Him. Because the truth is, you've never been forgotten. And one day you'll wake up and realize why He made you wait. You'll see how every unanswered dua wasn't ignored, but stored until the moment your heart was ready to hold the blessing. You'll stand in a place you never imagined reaching, and you'll look back on every sleepless night and whisper, "Ya Allah, you never left me, not for a moment." 8. A whispered dua for the one awake right now. It's late, and I know you can't sleep. Your room is quiet, but your mind is loud. Your chest feels heavy and your heart aches with questions you don't have answers to. You've smiled all day, pretending you're okay. But now, in the silence of this night, you finally let your soul breathe. This ... is where Allah meets you. Maybe you've been carrying pain for longer than you can remember. Maybe you've been praying for something that still hasn't come. Maybe you're haunted by memories that won't leave, or missing someone who isn't coming back. And maybe tonight you feel unseen, unheard, alone. But you're not even for a heartbeat. And we are closer to Him than His jugular vein. Surah Qaf 50:16. Closer than your breath, closer than your thoughts, closer than the ache you can't put into words. So tonight, don't try to find the perfect dua. Don't search for eloquence. Don't wait for the right words. Just whisper anything, even if it's messy, even if it's broken, even if all you can manage is "Ya Allah," and silence after it, because He already knows. He knew before the words formed. He knew before the tears fell. He knew before your heart broke. This is for the one who's awake right now, with pain too heavy to name, the one who smiles in public but crumbles in private, the one who's been trying to hold on but feels their grip slipping, the one whose duas feel unanswered, whose nights feel endless, whose chest feels tight with longing. This dua ... is for you. Ya Allah, for the one who's awake right now, lost in their thoughts and drowning in what-ifs. Wrap them in your mercy tonight. Remind them they are seen, even when the world overlooks them. Remind them they are heard, even when no one asks how they're doing. Remind them they are loved, even when they can't feel it. Ya Allah, be gentle with this heart. Maybe they've been waiting for years for a prayer to be answered. Maybe they've been longing for something that hasn't arrived. Maybe they've been holding back tears for so long that their soul has grown tired. Ya Allah, replace their exhaustion with ease. Replace their fear with faith. Replace their confusion with clarity. Show them that this season of waiting isn't punishment, but preparation. Sometimes your timing feels hidden, sometimes your silence feels heavy. But tonight, Ya Allah, whisper to this heart that your silence has never meant distance. Remind them that even when doors stay closed, it's because you're protecting them from what they cannot yet see. Ya Allah, Ya, for the one reading this and carrying more than they can say. Be gentle with their soul tonight. Ease the weight they've been dragging for so long. Turn their silent cries into answered du'as. Turn their sleepless nights into mornings full of peace. For the one whose hands tremble when they raise them to you. For the one who feels too tired to speak. For the one who whispers your name and wonders if you hear. Ya Allah, remind them that you always hear. Even when their voice shakes, even when their words break, even when they say nothing at all. Because you don't listen to the tongue, you listen to the heart. Some hearts tonight are exhausted from asking. They've prayed for so long and feel like nothing has changed. They've carried dreams that seem too far away and wounds that never seem to close. Ya Allah, let tonight be the night they feel your nearness. Wrap around them like light. Remind them that delay is not abandonment. Remind them that silence is not distance. Remind them that when you withhold, it is only to give something far greater. Maybe tonight, Ya Allah, someone is missing a person they once thought would stay forever. Maybe they're aching for a chapter that has closed or a love that slipped through their hands. Heal them in ways they don't know how to ask for. Replace what left with something better, even if it's just a heart content with your plan. Ya Allah, for the one who feels unseen, remind them that you are Al-Basir, the all-seeing. For the one who feels unheard, remind them that you are As-Sami, the all-hearing. For the one who feels unloved, remind them that you are Al-Wadud, the most loving. And for the one who feels lost, remind them that no soul is ever lost when it belongs to you. Maybe tonight they're holding guilt over mistakes they cannot erase. Maybe they've wandered farther than they intended. Maybe they've convinced themselves they're too broken to be forgiven. But Ya Allah, remind them of your mercy. Tell this heart that nothing is too heavy for you to forgive, that no distance is too far for you to bring them back, that no sin is too great for you to replace it with light. And Ya Allah, when they finally fall asleep tonight, let their soul rest in your protection. Place serenity in their chest, place sakina in their heart, place a reminder deep within them that even when the world overlooks them, you never have. Sometimes the proof of your love isn't in what you give, but in what you take away. Sometimes the healing comes, not from answers, but from being held through the waiting. So Ya Allah, wrap this heart in patience tonight and whisper to their soul, you are seen, you are heard, you are mine, Ya Allah. For the one awake right now, staring into the dark, trying to make sense of a heart that carries too much, be their light when their thoughts feel heavy. Be their calm when their chest feels tight. Be their anchor when their world feels unsteady. Hold them gently tonight, Ya Allah. Remind them that they were never meant to carry this alone, because you know about the storm inside them that no one else sees. You know the ache behind their smile. You know the longing hidden behind every laugh they force. Ya Allah, be the comfort they've been searching for everywhere else. Tonight, whisper to their heart that not one tear has ever fallen unseen, not one sleepless night has ever passed unnoticed, not one whispered dua has ever been forgotten. You've been listening all along, you've been watching all along, you've been holding them. Even when they thought they were falling, Ya Allah, replace their silent fears with loud faith. Replace their restlessness with sakina, that deep, unshakable peace that only comes from you. Replace their confusion with clarity so gentle that it feels like mercy raining softly over a thirsty heart. For the one afraid of tomorrow, remind them that you have already written it, that what is meant for them can never pass them by, and what passes them by was never written for them. Calm their racing heart, Ya Allah. Let them sleep tonight with the quiet certainty that your plan has never failed them, Ya Allah. For the one carrying guilt so heavy it breaks their back, show them that your mercy is greater than their mistakes. Show them that every sin they regret is a doorway back to you, not a wall keeping them away. Take their shame and turn it into forgiveness. Take their regret and turn it into redemption. Let them feel, Ya Allah, that they are still worthy of love, still worthy of closeness, still worthy of you. For the one waiting for a prayer to be answered, remind them that delay is not denial. Tell them that your silence has never meant absence, that every not yet is a promise that the right moment will come. Teach their heart to trust that your timing is always better than theirs. Ya Allah, when their hands rise tonight, catch every word they cannot say, even the ones buried so deep they've forgotten them themselves. Write their du'as into your infinite mercy. Answer them in ways more beautiful than they dare to imagine. And when they finally sleep, wrap them in your protection. Place angels at their head and angels at their feet. Fill their dreams with reminders of your love. Let them wake tomorrow, lighter, softer, calmer, with a heart certain that you have never left them, because you never have. Not for a moment, not for a heartbeat, not even in the silence. That felt endless. You've been here, closer than their thoughts, closer than their breath, closer than their pain. Always near, always listening, always loving. So tonight, Ya Allah, for the one awake right now, with tears drying on their pillow, with hope flickering like a small candle, let this be the night they feel you holding them. Let this be the night they know without doubt they are seen, they are heard, they are loved, and they have never been forgotten. Ya Allah, be enough for this heart tonight. Be the calm in their restlessness. Be the answer to their unspoken du'as. Be the home they keep searching for in everything else. And when the sun rises tomorrow, let them wake with the certainty that they are still yours. Always have been, always will be. Not every dream is random. Not every vision fades. Sometimes Allah sends you whispers your ears can't hear, but your heart already understands. That dream you saw, it wasn't just a passing thought. It was a reminder, a nudge, a soft proof that you are seen, that you are heard, that you are never, ever forgotten. Hold on to this truth tonight. If Allah sent it to you, it carries meaning, even if you can't see it yet. So breathe and trust the one who writes every heartbeat and every dream. And if this touched your heart, share it. Because maybe someone you love needs this reminder tonight, more than you know.